Hey guys, as we get into week 2 in advanced raster, we're coming right out of our week 1 demo and we're going straight into what will end up being 2 of the most important lectures as a photo manipulator, as a photo editor, especially as it sets the groundwork for things like compositing and whatnot, because a lot of the techniques that are discussed in week 1 and also in week 2 will go directly toward not only just basic editing in Photoshop, but also more advanced type editing when we get into compositing and retouching and different things like that. So as you go through week 2, we're going to be talking about adjustment layers. I have a couple of videos up here for you to take a look at, 2 with just an overview, and then some that go into each individual adjustment layer and some different articles for you to read. It's very important that you understand the information in these demos as we move through not only this week but the weeks to follow as well. As you get down to the week 2 assignment, adjustment layer assignment, we can click here. And this week 2 assignment is a 4-part assignment. Just like last week, we have 4 files that we're going to be working with. I've gone in and I've given you a link to the assignment files on the Google Drive. It's going to be these files that we're going to look at in just a few minutes, and basically what I want you to do on each one. So in part 1, we're just going to be working with adjustment layers, just an overview of the adjustment layers, and you're going to open up the week 2 assignment file, adjustment layers 1 PSD, and that's going to be this file right here. And what I want you to do on this one is to make sure that you can see your adjustment panel and your properties panel. And if you can't see either one of these panels, you can always go up to window and then down to either adjustment or properties or whatnot. But what I want you to do on this first part is I want you to apply every adjustment layer in this panel and make a change to it. So we would just start up here with brightness and contrast. We would add that adjustment. We would make an adjustment, whatever it may be. No right or wrong thing to do. I just want you to see what happens when you make the adjustment. And then you're going to go right over here to the eye, and you're going to turn that eye off. That's going to hide that adjustment. You're going to go back to your adjustments layer or adjustments panel, and you're going to make another adjustment. Go in, make a change to it, play with these sliders. The beautiful thing about adjustment layers is it's non-destructive and you cannot mess up. You can always go back and fix whatever you do or make changes to whatever you do. So make that next one, go in, turn the eye off, go to the next one, curves, and the demo is going to walk you through how to use these. Hopefully if you've been through DMPT 1010, you've had some experience with these adjustment layers already. But you can go in, make an adjustment, turn the eye off, go to the next one, and go through all of these adjustment layers making changes. And when you've done them all, go in. Quick way to select all of these is to click on the very first one, hold shift, click on the last one, and when you get finished doing all of these, you've applied an adjustment layer, you've made an adjustment to the adjustment layer. In the properties panel, you turn the eye off on the adjustment layer just created, and then you apply another adjustment layer, and then you're just going to repeat steps 2 through 4 over and over through all of the adjustments. And when you get finished, you're going to select all of your adjustments. You're going to create a folder or a group. The shortcut key to do this is Command G on a Mac, Control G on a PC. It's going to throw them all in a group, and you're going to name that group adjustment layers. And when you've done that, you're going to save that file. Part 2 is going to be combining global adjustments. Your videos will talk to you a little bit about a global adjustment versus a local adjustment. A global adjustment is basically what we just applied. It's an adjustment that affects the entire image. Okay, so we've got each of these adjustments come with a mask, a layer mask, and when that mask is completely white, that means that that adjustment is affecting everything. So this right here on part 2, you're going to open up the number 2 PSD, which is going to be this file. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be applying at least 3 adjustment layers to this image. Okay, so we're going to go in and let's say that we want to do brightness contrast, darken this up a little bit, add some contrast to it, maybe brighten it up a little bit more. Go in, let's say maybe we want to add a little bit of color balance. We're going to add another adjustment, and you see that this is affecting everything on the layer. And then we'll go in and let's say we want to add one more adjustment, maybe a little bit of vibrance. See, a little bit of vibrance, maybe a little bit of saturation, maybe a little less vibrance. But anyway, all of these adjustment layers are stacked on top of each other, so they're all affecting each other, and they're having an effect on the entire image. So we could turn these on and off to see what changes it makes and whatnot. And when you've done all of these, applied at least 3 of them, we're going to go and do the same thing. We're going to group them all, double click, and we're going to name the folder Global Adjustments. Save that file. That file's finished. Part 3 and part 4 get a little bit more into detail about making localized adjustments. Part 3 is all about local adjustments. So the difference between, and this is the file we're going to be working with, the difference between a global adjustment and a local adjustment is that a local adjustment will only affect a specific area of the image, not the entire image as a whole. So this is the file that we'll be working with. This is adjustment layer file 3. You have a model and a background. This is from our file from last week. You'll see that that model has had a layer mask applied, and we've gone in and we've hidden the background. So this is a non-destructive way of editing. We looked at that last week. So what we're going to do on local adjustments is we're going to apply at least 2 adjustment layers to this image. Both of these are going to be locally. Number 1, we're going to apply an adjustment layer. Let's say that I want to do a levels adjustment. Okay. We're going to make the adjustment in the properties panel, whatever it may be, and we're going to use a clipping mask to clip this adjustment layer to the model layer. So we looked last week at how we can make a clipping mask. If you didn't quite catch that, I'm going to walk you through it real quick. There's a few different ways to make a clipping mask. The first way is to right click on the layer and click Create Clipping Mask. Now what this is going to do is you're going to see an arrow pointing down, and that's going to show you that this adjustment layer is clipped to this layer. That means it's only going to affect this layer. So whatever we make, whatever changes we make, they're only going to be visible on this layer. And we see that this layer has been masked, so we only see it in this white area. That is a local adjustment. It is not affecting everything in the file. It's only affecting what we have it clipped to. So that was step 3. Oops, I have to go back in and change that. Step number 4, this should be a step number 4, is we're going to apply another adjustment layer. So let's go in. Let's put this one under the model layer. Okay, so let's go in and let's say an adjustment curves. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to make a curves adjustment. Now right now this is a global adjustment. What we want it to do is we only want it to affect a specific area. Okay, so there's a couple of ways that we can do this. We can grab our brush tool and we can hide the adjustment by painting black on the mask. So I'm going to make sure that my foreground color is black. We talked about this in demo last week. I'm going to make sure that my mask is selected, and I'm just going to paint out where I don't want this adjustment to take place, and it's going to mask it. Okay, so if I make an adjustment, you'll see it's only going to affect that specific area. This is a local adjustment. Okay, so we're going to go in and you'll save that file. That's all you have to do to this one. Now, number 4, we're going to talk about combining global and local adjustments, and this one is completely up to you. This is the file you'll be using. This is a file from last week. It says open number 4 file and apply at least 4 adjustment layers. You have creative freedom on this image. The only requirement is that you use both global and local adjustment methods. So based on what we've talked about in these last 2, you're going to apply some global and some local, and that could either be clipped, it could either be masked, or just global adjustments just stacked on top of the image itself. So I give you creative freedom on that one. When you finish all of these, make sure that you go in, save them, turn them in the same way you did week 1's assignments. Go to the Google Drive, go into the week 2 folder, and you'll see that here are our files for the assignment this week. And then inside of the assignment drop folder, just make you a personal folder and then drop your 4 PSD files in there. And that's pretty much the assignment for this week. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys later.